Backhouse reviews The Quiet Ones, and it's been a really tricky film to review, if I'm honest with you. It's the third time I'm trying to do this, and probably the issue why is I just don't care about the film. It is what it is, and I'm almost tempted to not do this review. That's how much I just don't care. Is it a bad film? No. Is it a good film? No. And if you want to talk about where we're at with The Quiet Ones, it's tense. There's no give for the tenseness, and eventually what happens is that you get bored. And that really is the issue with The Quiet Ones. And but we'll go back to The Woman in Black. There's a couple of things that I'd said in The Woman in Black that in that review that were incorrect about Hammer. One was that it was the first film of the Hammer revival. Well, certainly not. It's the first film I've seen of the Hammer revival. But before that, you've had Let Me In, The Resident, and Wildwoods. I think there's another one before that as well. Maybe The Rave. Will I see them? Probably not. They don't. None of them actually. The only one that appealed to me a little bit was The Resident, and The Resident was a film that I think I saw signposted on the buses, and I thought, yeah, it looks an interesting premise. But I don't know. I don't think I'll get round to seeing them. Well, it's certainly not on my list to do anyway. I'd also said that The Woman in Black was budgeted at 20 million. Well, I've seen it also about 15 million reported somewhere as well. So. Yeah, could be wrong there. Either way, whatever happens, The Woman in Black was a big success financially. Either 6 or 8 times against its budget, which obviously allows him the ability to make a sequel and films like The Quiet Ones. And talking about, let's go back to The Quiet Ones now. It's just pretty dull. There's no denying that Hammer tried to follow the same path that they'd set out with The Woman in Black, which is where they had the tenseness throughout. And it looks pretty good, The Quiet Ones. It looks like it's set in the 70s, and it's filmed authentically. That's something you have to applaud them for. They put the settings right, and it can look as good as it fucking wants, though it's still not a great film. And the premise really is it's set around a true-ish story about a professor or some people that were doing parapsychology experiments in the 70s in America. What they're trying to do, I won't go through the full details of the film because, as I say, I don't care. If you want to watch the film or read it on Wikipedia, and they go through this. They've got a subject. They want to try to get that subject to manifest or project, I suppose, darkness or evilness into either like an object or into making things happen. And you see in the past that the professor who's doing this has done it before to another boy, and the boy turns out that it was his son. He's failed his son, and maybe that's why he's putting so much effort into this young girl. The truth of the fact is that the setup, I like the idea. I like the whole parapsychology idea. Actually, it's quite interesting, the idea that maybe you could drive someone to the brink of insanity and make them manifest their dark feelings into supernatural or paranormal behaviour, or projecting that darkness into an object. Great idea, just not done well. On the couple of occasions where the jump scares happen, I don't remember being even surprised or scared at any of the jump scares. Unlike The Woman in Black, where that whole tenseness, you get those payoffs on occasion. What you have with The Quiet Ones is when it does give you, or tries to pay you back, you're either, by that time, lost in boredom, or there was an occasion in the middle of the film where the subject goes a bit crazy, and they're having to hold her down, and then out of the blue, out of nowhere, a 6-foot tongue comes extending from her mouth, and it looked really bad. The CGI was poor, but it wasn't just that the CGI was poor, because I can, you know, in low budget films, I can get by with poor CGI. It was just that it was out of place. It was out of place for the tenseness and for the setting of the film. And, you know, but then they jump past that and they try to put you into this story about actually, you know, she's not manifesting anything. There is just, I assume, an evil spirit either attached to her or attached to the group. And you know, that story again, the idea of that was quite interesting. That there was this young girl who this cult had got hold of, and because they believed she had paranormal psychic abilities, and in the end she started a fire that killed them all. And you know, another little snippet that was quite interesting, but by that time again I didn't care, and that's the problem with the film. It loses you. It was 98 minutes long, 96 minutes long, something like that. It felt like a 2-hour film. You know, and you contrast that to Woman in Black, which has probably got similar, maybe a little bit less running time. And it didn't feel it. It went quickly because you were intrigued. And that's where The Quiet Ones lost us. And, you know, I could say more. I don't really want to say more. You know, I'm an argument as to even to bother to upload anything or even review this after my second failed attempt at trying, just because it's not even worthy of a review. I could argue especially when you compare it to The Woman in Black. So that the second film of the Hammer revival I've watched, and you know, I do think to myself, do I bother watching the third film of, well, not the third film, sorry, the sixth or seventh film of the revival, which would be my third film, which is The Woman in Black 2, and I just don't know. The Quiet Ones let me down so much, and, you know, you understand why it struggled at the US box office. I think it grossed $17 million or something like that. You know, it didn't open very well, had hardly any legs, and faded out. And you probably see why. You know, there's nothing there for the audience to grip onto, and you know, unless you're an avid horror fan, and I'd avoid.